So first of all, I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their busy schedules to participate in this webinar. Over the years, we've had some really good feedback off of it, and to the point of there's so much information, I'll typically see the same names roll through time and time again over the course of, say, 12 months in order to kind of pick up on and try to hone some of the information that Howard presented here in the webinar. We are going to do a Q&A, so if you do have any questions, please send the emails to the email address so that we can make sure we get to as many of those as possible. My name is Jason Spangler. I'm the flooring division manager here at Wagner Meters. I'm responsible for not only the concrete side of the business and the Rapid RH product line, but for the small line of wood hand meters we have for doing finished wood product and wood subfloor installations. If for whatever reason I'm unable to get to everybody's questions, please don't hesitate to contact me directly. My phone number is 800-634-9961, extension 235. And for those of you who are going to be at World of Concrete and or Surfaces next week, please look us up, come by and check out the new line of Orion meters that we have and some of the new things that we have for the Rapid RH product line. So the first question I have that I get a lot revolves around, Howard talks about all of the information related to F2170 testing or relative humidity testing and how it is a very depth specific measurement. So with that, obviously you need to know the thickness of the concrete. So people will ask me, how do I find out that thickness so I can ensure that I'm drilling to the appropriate depth? Well, they do make a machine. They make a machine that will work from the top side, works off of what they call an echo impact principle, and will give you the overall thickness within a tolerance of the slab. It's usually connected to, it's a handheld device that's connected to an iPad or something along those lines. And it seems like to be a very, very good product. I can physically see it. I can tell you that I've seen it. I haven't physically had my hands on it. But the one thing that does kind of take away from it in most situations is the last time I checked, it was over $2,000 for the device. So for most practical applications, most people are not going to put the money out for that. The second one is that, obviously if you're looking at new construction or if you're looking at renovations where they do a good job with document archives as far as plans and things along those lines as the building has progressed, you should be able to have specifications that would give you at least an idea of what the spec was on the overall thickness of the concrete. The last side of it is that when you do have those renovations, sometimes there's trenching, sometimes there's other things that's going on that will allow you to actually see when the concrete's open. And worst case scenario, I have people telling me that they will take a smaller diameter drill bit in a few locations or a couple of locations in a slab. You're not going to go through and make holes all over the place with the drill bit. But say you're taking a 3/16 inch drill bit and you're drilling all the way through the slab, taking a piece of wire, putting it down in there, getting it so that you can actually see how thick that slab is in a couple of different places for comparative information, so that you can then make an intelligent decision as far as how deep to drill that hole. Is it perfect? No, but from the standpoint of doing your due diligence, most people would say, a rational person has done it at that point. The other question I get a lot is when you're talking about elevated pan decking, elevated slabs that are poured in pan decking. First question I get is it drying from one side or two sides? Well, it's poured into pan decking, and the pan decking, even if it is what they call vented, it still ends up being something where it's not vented or breathing enough, where the airflow is having an impact that is drying from both sides of that concrete slab. So we're looking at having to go into it at a 40% depth. The next question most people will give me is, so am I calculating that based off of the shallow depth or the thickest depth? So ASTM standard is totally silent on this. There is nothing that says black and white, this is the way you do it. Our recommendation is that you calculate the 40% based off of the deepest section, and that you do everything you can to identify that deepest part, and that's where we want you to drill in. So in other words, if you have a shallow part on the top of the flute that's 2.5 inches, you have a deep part in the deepest part that's 5.5 inches, we want you to identify, do the best you can to identify that area and drill 40% of that 5.5 inch. That's going to give you probably the worst case scenario. With that, obviously trying to identify those areas. They do have a couple of different devices that work a lot like stud finders, wood stud finders for walls, and they work like that on concrete. Fairly inexpensive, under $100. They're not perfect, but basically what they do is they work off of a signal that's strong enough that it picks up where the top of the hat on the shallow area is. It picks up that metal. You can scan across, picks up the other metal. You know, obviously, that in between that is where your deep spots are. So that allows you to be able to try to identify where those deep spots are at, and then you can calculate that 40% drill depth. So it doesn't look like I have any other questions. Again, my name is Jason Spangler. My direct contact information is 800-634-9961, extension 235. And I look forward to seeing any and all of you that are going to be there next week in Las Vegas for World of Concrete and Surfaces. Take care.